Hello, I'm Mike and welcome back to Discover Crypto. I just want to take a moment to thank all of the subscribers and people who have been watching and liking the content. I just want to reassure you that I'm continuing to do all that I can on a limited budget and a part-time basis to try and improve the quality and the settings and experience for everyone. So apologies in my last video if the mouse was a little too loud. So I'm actually just going to go to the touchpad today and try and improve things for all of you. Before getting into today's video, I just want to get into a little bit of housekeeping. If anyone is seeing massive gains on their coins and things like that right now, I just want you to bear in mind that coins don't continue to go up forever, and it is worth thinking about taking some profits just to ensure that you still have some cash at hand if you need to, reload on dips or anything like that. So without further ado, let's get back into the Polkadot Parachain auctions. Something I want to quickly clear up for everyone. Polkadot said in one of their tweets that anyone who leaves less than $1 in their account will have they're on a wallet will have their feed or their coin deleted. However, I've dug a little deeper into this and it's known as the existential deposit. Basically, all that happens is that the account will go into hibernation if it's below $1. This is just to avoid accounts with small amounts of dust clogging up the network, and that if you were to add a little bit more dot back into the account and bring it back above $1, then it would be reactivated. This won't be an issue on centralized exchanges, however it is if you're using something like Math Wallet, Polkadot.js, or Fearless. I use Fearless. Something else, I'm going to Moonbeam's Twitter account here. They basically have explained and given a diagram, and I've got more in-depth information on the auction format. So basically it is candlestick auction. The entire auction runs. However, there is a random ending period, and this can occur in the 5 days that follow the initial 1 day and 18-hour starting period. Moonbeam basically explains, and also in Polkadot, on the Polkadot wiki, it's basically explained that, although it says that an auction runs for 7 days, an ending period is selected at random. And that means that bidders, some of the contributors don't necessarily count if they show up after the bidding process has already ended. And this all happens at random. But I'll provide some links to this information so that you can look into it yourselves if you're interested. As for the Parachain auctions, it's neck and neck between Akala and Moonbeam. There's been some back and forth since last week. Right now we've got Akala just edging ahead on 29.7 million, Moonbeam on 29.67 million. I've actually contributed to both of these, so I'm excited to see how they're going. One thing worth noting that in mid-December, all 5 of the first auction winners, they're going to onboard onto Polkadot at the same time. So although maybe, one of the parachains wins the 5th auction, they're going to come online at the same time as Akala and Moonbeam. So it's going to be an exciting startup for Polkadot. We won't just be looking at one project. Now, in terms of today, we're looking at Astar, which is currently on 6.3 million dot contributed. This is just ahead of Parallel Finance. In terms of Astar, this is a multi-chain Polkadot dApp hub, and it's designed to offer Ethereum functionality. So this is something you can compare to Moon River. So there might be a bit of competition here between the two. We also hear that there are going to be smart contract functionality, and this will allow for DeFi on the Astar network. There's also going to be NFTs and a decentralized autonomous organization for voting on what happens among community members. We can see here that Polkadot here is the layer 0. Astar is going to be a layer 1, and then it's going to potentially offer connectivity to other layer 1s. So we can see here Ethereum, Cosmos is planned, and it'll be exciting to learn what comes after. in terms of a star, it refers to here about layer 2s. Now, with a star, there is some documentation that I came across that refers to a star. Yep, here it is. So a star is aiming to facilitate layer 2 solutions. Now, this is sort of, layer 2s are all the rage on Ethereum because Ethereum is a layer 1, but the transaction fees are so high, and layer 2s are basically trying to improve functionality by ensuring higher rate of transactions per second and to lower fees. So things like Matic Polygon is a layer 2, also Loopring. And I'll also link you to this page because there's more in-depth information on Astar and how it functions. There's a nice image here of what to expect from the app whenever it is launched. In terms of the tokenomics, we've got Astar used for transactions, on-chain governance, staking, and it's going to be used in layer 2. In terms of the backers, I don't think that, in my opinion, Astar isn't maybe quite as prestigious as some of the other backers that we have on things like Akala and Moonbeam. So, but nevertheless, Hypersphere is heavily active in DOT. Binance Labs, most people in crypto should have heard of Binance if they're involved. Hashkey Capital is a decent backer to have. Early supporters, I was doing a little digging. So Microsoft for startups, it's Microsoft Japan that has assisted Astar in this area. Also the Substrate Builders Program, Web3 grants, although Web3 grants have been handed out widely throughout the Polkadot ecosystem. In terms of, I was looking in on the Medium page for Astar, and it's explaining here that Commonwealth Labs and Webb Technologies are going to be the core development companies working on Astar and helping other developers get involved. It says here in the article that Commonwealth has been involved in building on early Substrate, which is the coding language of Polkadot, since 2018, and that Commonwealth is also backed by Coinbase. So there's that sounds promising enough, but I think even from launch, like, this is going to be maybe a slower burn for Astar as the network gets developed, as people come in and start to build on it. So I would say to anyone who wants to invest in Astar, don't expect the world when it launches in December. There could be some early hype on the price as people decide they want to get involved. But, I would expect a dip after that, and for Astar to really take off maybe after another bear market and into another bull market. So it's, in my opinion, maybe we do look at this as a slower burn. In terms of Astar, I was wanting to find out a bit more about the project, and so whenever you're on the Astar page, you can basically go down to About and Team, and this About leads you to stake.co.jp. So Stake Technologies is a Japanese company, and then I was further looking into the project and found out that Sota Watanabe is the CEO, so you can go and look up him on Google and find out a bit more about the work that he does. But it appears that Stake is maybe stepping back a little bit to let the other development companies further the growth of Astar. At this point, I also want to mention Shiden. So Shiden is the equivalent project. It's a multi-chain dApp hub, which is pretty much exactly what Astar does, and allows for smart contracts and Ethereum virtual machine and WebAssembly compatibility. So this is the sister chain of Astar, except that it runs on Kusama, which is described as a canary net of Polkadot. So it allows for greater experimentation. Astar has a page with limited information available on CoinMarketCap, but nevertheless, you can find your way to the official Medium page and Twitter page for Astar. Also, Shiden has already undergone its launch, so you can find out a bit more about Shiden on CoinMarketCap by going over to the page. In terms of comparing these projects, I have done the digging on the Medium articles. So with Astar, it has been decided that there's going to be 7 billion tokens launched initially. If we go back to Shiden, I can show you that Shiden has 70 billion, so you're missing 2 zeros there on the circulation. So, Astar, it would have to work hard to get a price of 340 like Shiden does. For anyone who's interested in Shiden, let's just quickly look on TradingView. We can see that since Shiden has launched on KuCoin, this has really come down quite significantly. I'm not sure if this is, interest waning, but then there can be early pumps on projects, and then as they go and try to grow and build and develop, they can take their time, they bottom out, and then they slowly accumulate until the bigger news and developments start to happen. So if anyone is interested in Shiden, it is way down on the all-time high of around $9 here. We're talking about $3.50 as I'm writing this on the 15th, as I'm recording this on the 15th of November. As for the Parachain auctions, the first article that was published about the Astar Crowdloan explained the different ways to get bonuses. So there are friend referrals that can enable a 1% bonus. However, the best bonus of all, and this is above the early adopter one, is that if anyone contributes before the end of the first Polkadot Parachain auction, so that would be before November 18th, there's a 20% bonus. So contributing early to Astar can guarantee a significant bonus. So Moonbeam hasn't offered a bonus, but Astar is offering a 20% bonus. So that is very interesting. As for the rewards, 1.4 billion tokens of the 7 billion initial supply will be given out. So that's 20%. So we can see that 20% is double that of the 10% of Moonbeam, and you can compare it to some of the other offerings. But something to also bear in mind about Astar is that the initial inflation of this project is 10%. So that means after the first year, you're going to see 10% increases in the token circulation. So that's worth bearing in mind, because if the demand isn't met, then this increases supply and could, suppress the price. With Astar, we can see that just over 1 billion are going to be for the standard Crowdloan auction rewards, and then there's a bonus pool which is going to have 350 million. The lockup period for anyone who contributes will be 96 weeks, so you won't be able to do anything with your DOT in that time. You can't move it, you can't sell it. I know that there are some complex financial instruments that will allow staking based on the DOT that is locked, but that's for you to go and find out yourself. The standard message is that it's not really usable. In terms of the vesting, whenever Astar goes live, it appears that 10% of the initial rewards will be made available, and then there will be linear vesting of 22 months. So the simplest explanation is that the tokens will be slowly unlocked over the 22 months of the Crowdloan. Interestingly enough, if you have received Astar awards, so the token code is ASTR, so tokens that are still locked or you're waiting to receive, they will be allowed for use in dApp staking or future crowd staking. So staking is one of the most low risk ways to engage in DeFi, so that's a pretty good piece of news, I think, so that although your tokens will be unlocked, they can be put to work and maybe harvest some more ASTR. In terms of the Crowdloan situation, if you go to parachains.info and go to the auctions section and scroll down to Polkadot, you can click on this wee arrow here and it will tell you the current estimated rewards. So 6.37 is where we are right now. So the estimated rewards are 220 ASTR for each DOT contributed. However, a minimum of 5 DOT will be required for every single project. There's also a nice pie chart here showing the breakdown of where the tokens will be going. the absolute minimum quoted here because, right, so with Astar, you can hover over here and it shows you there's a crowd loan cap of 35 million. If the crowd loan cap is hit, then that means the minimum received will be 40 ASTR for each dot. So it's good to know that there is a minimum, so you can base your decision making on the minimum you will receive. And also, I would advise taking into consideration your entry price for dot. So my entry prices are up to a maximum of $20. So I've not felt too concerned about crowd loaning. However, if anyone has been getting into dot more recently, then you might have to suffer through some price decreases. I mean, even I might, because dot went down to close to $10 in the spring or around May and June and into the summer whenever we went through that bearish period. So even if you would have gotten in at around $20 before in dot, you were nearly seeing half the value go down. But then crypto is volatile, it can be risky. And you do have to think to yourself, am I the type of person who can sit through decreases in price and wait for better days? And if you're not, you might need to reconsider. But it is good. Like I'm one. So with Akala has a 50 million cap on the crowd loan. Moonbeam has 100. Astar is 35. So potentially, if Astar doesn't hit the 35, you might do better. So if Astar were to only get maybe 23.5 million dot contributed, that could be close to 60 ASTR per dot, so it could make it even more appealing. I haven't completely decided yet what I'm going to do about Astar, but if I am going to get involved, it will be before the end of the first auction. With Astar, there is an option to loan your dot through a page which is crowdloan.astar.network. I'll provide a link to that at the end of the video. And basically people who have the Polkadot.js extension set up can go and connect their Polkadot address here. But this is more necessary for people who have received a referral address, through friends, and who want to submit that. So you can put in a referral address, you can invite friends to get a reward and things like that. And it's also going to inform you, how much dot you're contributing and the minimum you're currently receiving based on the crowd loan. However, don't get attached to that value because, as I've said, it could change based on the contributions increasing. There's also reminds us of the 20% early bird discount and when that's ending. So you can come to this page and even just check in to see when the early bird discount is ending if you want to get involved, because 20% is a pretty amazing bonus. Regarding Astar, it's a project that I am interested in. I'm worried slightly maybe about if there's going to be competition between Astar and Moonbeam, but competition in the space is healthy. It could make for a more diverse ecosystem and lead to more developments. I would say also about Astar is that this is a coin with a much greater circulating supply. So this is a sort of coin you're going to see it worth cents rather than dollars. So I wouldn't invest and think that you're going to see a token that surges to massive prices. We're looking at a total supply initially of 7 billion. Now all of that won't be unlocked from day one, but that's where we'll reach, and then there will be inflation of 10%. So there's going to be a growing supply, so that's worth bearing in mind. I'm going to sit for now for the next day or two and wait and see how the parachain auctions are progressing and the numbers on Astar. I think I'm going to force myself to make a decision before the end of the early bird discount. If I don't get the early bird discount, I don't think I'm going to get involved with Astar, because 20% it's too good to pass up, and that 20% could be even better based on if Astar doesn't hit the 35 million cap that is in place. As I've said before, Shiden is the sister chain. You can go and even find that now on KuCoin, and that, because it's got a lower circulation of around the 70 million region, that does have a higher price. For anyone who's wanting to currently get into the crowd loans, centralized exchanges are probably the easiest way if you are inexperienced, because the centralized exchanges like Binance and KuCoin and Kraken, They'll do the hard work for you and then send the rewards to you, and then they'll be gradually unlocked as the project goes on. So that might be the simplest way, but then that'll probably come at a price, because you should check your exchange to discover what the fees are for this process, because they normally do tax this. I know Kraken has done maybe around 10% in the past. Me personally, I'm going to be using the Fearless wallet on my iPhone. I find that pretty simple to use. Polkadot.js is a little bit complicated and not completely user friendly. I know some people are using Math Wallet and things like that. So the options are out there. I just also wanted to say that please remember that this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Please do your own research, and this is intended for educational purposes only. I'm just here to try and share my research and hopefully put you towards the most accurate information. As I've explained, I'm going to share all of the links in the description for my most important pieces of research. So, yep, thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe if I've helped you. And I'm going to be back soon with more content on the Polkadot Parachain auctions. So yeah, thank you for watching. I've been Mike of Discover Crypto.